Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another Monday Morning Art Talk. I'm Steven Silver, character designer and teacher, dedicated to helping you learn about the art industry and living up to your potential. Whippy! Okay, so today, what I wanted to talk about was every now and again I read people's comments that they've written, and again I encourage you, if there's anything that you want to write specifically, please feel free, that you want me to address, because I read every single comment that you guys write. There is never an art talk that I've ever done where I don't look at someone's comments, because I like to hear sometimes the other side. I like to hear something that you can add to it, because it's not just me that's reading it, it's other people that are reading through the comments, so it doesn't fall on deaf ears, so to speak. But I want to read you a comment that someone wrote based on an art talk that I did. And I do not want to mention this person's name, and I'm not here to trash the person, or I'm not here to do anything but share just maybe some more insight to where maybe I could help this person, and maybe there's other people that are feeling this way, and maybe I can help you too, just by adding a sense of clarity to it. So back in my art talk number 17, that I did, I've done, getting up there, almost 200 now, was on artistic depression, and just discussing what artists go through. And this person wrote a comment. They said, it's okay, existential crisis, year-long dry periods, deeply hating your own work and wanting to chop your own hands off is perfectly normal and shared by everyone. Life is a journey. And then he writes, fuck you. And because, I'm just talking about how life's a journey, and we're going to all go through things, and we're going to face different things, and all the different experiences that we're going to have. So this person was obviously very hurt, because they couldn't relate to what I was saying. And this is what I just kind of want to clarify today in this art talk, because I realize that I'm not ashamed to say that I got good things happening for me. And I'm not ashamed to say that I've had a great career and have a great career. I'm not ashamed to say that I've had a successful journey. Have I had many failures? Yes. Have I had many trials and errors? Absolutely. Have I gone through things as an artist from the time I was 18 to the time I'm 46 right now? What is that, 29 years, 28 years, whatever it may be? It's been quite the journey. But what I want to say is that just because, I can say these things, because this is, again, the mindset, it's okay for you to say, do you realize that I almost chopped my hands off and I've gone through all this, and who the hell are you? It's like, I'm offering my opinion to try to help other people out along their journey based on my experiences. Have I ever gone through that experience of wanting to chop off my hands? No. Or going through this crisis that they've gone through, or what people go through? Absolutely not. But all I can say is you can stay in a place of not wanting to change, and create and just say that all these horrible things are happening to you, and it's everyone else's fault, and it's this is happening and this is happening. Or you can start to educate yourself and start to just lift and move one stone at a time. Imagine you're trapped in a cave, and all of a sudden, all the rocks just kind of came in and bolted up that whole, filled up the whole cave, and you can't, get out. You can sit there in that cave and you can just say, I'm just going to die. There's no way I'm going to get out. I'm just going to suffocate and my life's over. Okay? If you want, that could be part of your choice. Otherwise, you can say, I got to move all these rocks at once, and you realize I can't move all these stones at once, and then you give up because you can't move all the stones at once. Okay, that's not working either. Otherwise, you can decide just to do one thing at a time and move one rock at a time. And it may take a long time. Some people are going to get exhausted a lot quicker, and all of a sudden they're going to give up after, I've done it for an hour, now I quit. I've done it for 30 minutes, I quit. Some people will go for 8 hours because it's so important to them for their own life to be saved that they're not going to stop at all, and they're going to experience the superhuman strength, and they're going to get out of that hole that they're in. So you can do that, and you can be like that, right? So we all have our own choice. And so this is the important message here, is that whatever you're experiencing, whatever you're going through, as horrible as it may be, as great as it may be, and no, I'm just going to stick with the horrible, as horrible as it may be, there is no instant cure. It's not going to happen right away. But are you willing to put in the effort and the energy to make things change for yourself? Are you prepared to know that it's going to take work? It's another thing I want to sort of just mention to you. If I told you, hey, I want you to change the oil on my car, you go, I've never changed the oil in anyone's car. How am I going to do that? I take it to someone else to change the oil in my car. No, I want you to do it, but I don't know how. Okay. So because you don't know how, well, you can choose to either just keep going on and saying, I don't know how, or you can start to go on YouTube or go to a class and learn how to change oil. So that's the solution to that. Or what would happen if I told someone who's been, can you change my oil? And they go, I've changed oil in someone's car like 5 different times. Yeah, I could do that for you. Well, then you can do it. You know why you can do it? Because you've given yourself the knowledge, and every time you make an oil change, you get that much better. And that's my whole point, is that you can sit and say it's easy for you and that just blow things off, and even just the idea of the philosophy of surrendering to a situation, or just let things go, and don't let all this fear and anxiety and all this stuff just take over your head. Oh, it's easy for you to say, you're not experiencing what I'm. So are you going to sit and keep complaining about it, or are you going to actually start doing something about it to make yourself stronger? So if it takes 5 years of therapy, if that's what it takes, that you're committing yourself to effort and making yourself get out of that place, because that's exactly what I've done. I'm not ashamed. It's like, not only upon my own journey have I learned so many lessons that I can share with you guys, but I have read hundreds of books, and I have watched tons and hundreds of documentaries and hundreds of different videos and hundreds of different experiences of different people's life, to where I take that knowledge and that learning, not only do I apply it to my own life to make my own life great, but I'm trying to impart that knowledge to you guys to try to make your life great. So you can write messages like this, and I'm not going to delete them, and you can say, tell me fuck you, and that I don't understand your situation, and you can just say that that's it. Otherwise, you can say, you know what, maybe this person who I don't really know them, I'm just watching a video about them or what they're saying, and maybe I could take some of that and go, maybe I'm going to try it. Maybe I'm going to put it into effect, and maybe I'm going to start reading the right type of books, and maybe I'm going to go to a bookstore and a library and go to the self-help section. If I'm going through such turmoil in my life that things are so bad, there are so many books out there, and there are so many groups out there, and there are so many people out there who are out there to help you. There's people to help you if you're a parent who's lost a child. I had a dear friend of mine who's no longer with us. His name was Stan Goldberg. He didn't create Archie, but he was doing Archie comics for 60 years. He took it over from Dan DeCarlo and was the head guy. His daughter was murdered. Okay? The most horrific thing you can ever think about, when she was, I think, in college. And what he had to go through, but he would talk to me, said, I would go to groups and help me through it and all this thing. Because you go, how do people handle that? How do people go through that? This, if you guys didn't hear the story about that limousine that crashed, I can't remember what state it was, carrying 20 people and killed all 20 people. And there's deaths all the time. But there were 4 sisters in that car that died, and their husbands, and those parents, like how is a parent supposed to cope with the fact that their whole family was just wiped out. If you guys ever heard about the Sullivan brothers during World War II, the 4 brothers that served on the battleship in the Navy during World War II that was blown out of the water and killed, and all 4 brothers were killed and died, that whole family lost all 4 sons in one solid swoop. Gone. Done. How do you think they coped? So people are going to be coping through horrible, horrific situations in their life, but there is a way out if you are willing to put in the work and do the effort. And just by the way, so you know, because of that incident, no siblings are allowed to serve in the same unit and be in the same place. If they serve all together, they have to be separated because they don't want that. My parents when they used to fly us out of places, when we had to go places, when they'd send me and my 3 other brothers out, they wouldn't put us on the same plane. We'd have to go on separate planes, 2 and 2, because if the plane crashed, they didn't want they were doing preventative measures in their mind. So this is the point. You do preventative measures. You do things. You don't attack people. You don't just make if someone's trying to do something good and help other people and it doesn't go along with your beliefs, does that give you the right to hate that person and just belittle that person? Are you a part of the problem, or are you going to be part of the change? And that's what I just kind of want to express here more than anything is art talk, is that you are the one who is capable of being the change. You are the creator. You are responsible for the environment that you live in, and you can, change. And I want to take that back. You're not responsible for the environment you live in. If you're born into an environment which is not ideal, and abusive parents and a war-torn country and different things like that, you can't be blamed for that. So the problem is the environment you're living in. But as you get older and you become 18 and 19 and you can take control for yourself, do you have the capability of trying to make change and do something different? Or can you just say, I hate everything and everyone and it's everyone else's fault? Or are you going to do something about it and maybe start by educating yourself, just like with an oil change, so that next time someone asks you to do an oil change, you can say, I've done it and I think I can help you with that. Let's try to figure it out. How's that for sort of like coming together and communicating and building a relationship and making things work and making people work together instead of being divided in this sense, that you haven't experienced depression the way I've experienced depression, so therefore you're wrong, so fuck you. What is that? How are you going to become better from that? So what I want to do is offer anyone who's feeling this and is in this mindset is just like, be the change. Start researching, reading, doing what's necessary to get you out of that hole that you're so far in. Because we're all going to go through some sort of hole, some worse than others. I'm sorry, that's the way life is. That's what it's about. I'm not going to cushion this. Everyone's life is different. We're all our own little apple tree within our own little orchards, and we're going to have our own rotten apples and our own healthy apples, and things are going to go good and things are going to go bad. And yes, when things go bad, you ask yourself, how can I change, like Eckhart Tolle talked about, how can I change the situation? How can I remove myself from the situation, or how do I just accept the situation? Those are the 3 factors you have to do. So you can sit and be angry all you want, but at that point you're just fully accepting that I'm going to be angry and miserable and depressed the rest of my life. Otherwise you're going to say, this situation isn't ideal and I got to put myself out of it. And it just might be the people you're surrounding yourself with, whether it's your own family, your own parents, your own grandparents, your own relatives, your own cousins, your own friends, may be the problem, that you realize that I got to get myself out of there. And what I love about, and this is why I love people's stories and hearing people. Met an artist yesterday, happened to move into the area not too far away from me. Told him about a life drawing class, went to the life drawing class, we chatted, went to lunch together afterwards. But this guy's telling me he moved from an environment, he wants to be an illustrator, and this guy's a good artist. And he was working for Harley Davidson, he was doing stuff, but he was living in Wisconsin, and just not getting work, and it's just like things aren't happening. So what does this guy do? This guy's still looking for work, and it's gonna happen for him, but this guy is so happy that he moved to California because he said, I put myself in an environment where there's so much going on out here, and I took my wife, and my wife doesn't have a job right now, but we're gonna make it work, and we're gonna make it work. We've saved money, we're making it work. We've come out here, but we realized that this was the environment for us to put ourselves in because this is where my type of people are. And his wife that's another great thing. He's got the supportive wife who supports him in what he does with his art, and making the move from where all the family is to coming out here, but knowing that it's going to be a life change to benefit him. And sometimes that's what you had to do. I had to move to LA against my will. I did not want to be in LA at all to save my life. I hated the thought of LA. I lived in sunny San Diego, and I wanted my life to be out there. But I realized if I wanted to have a job in the animation industry, I had to move out to LA, and that's what I did. So you're going to put yourself in situations. I had to move away from my family, away from everything, away from my comfort zone. I was living in a shitty apartment full of cockroaches and screaming neighbors and windows and everything else outside my house where I was living. I was sleeping on a mattress on a blow-up bed in the beginning, and I was sleeping on a couch, and I've gone through it all. I was doing that. I was eating my bean and cheese burrito every night for dinner, just some Rosarita beans and some flour tortilla and some cheese and a microwave, and that's all I have. I didn't have an oven. I've gone through that stuff. I've been there, and so what? That was a part of the journey, and that was a part of my experience and a part of my life, and I knew I wasn't going to be there forever. So when you determine and decide that you're not going to be in this place forever, then you make change, and you start acting, and you start doing, and you stop complaining, and you create the life that you want. So that's what my advice is to anyone else who's feeling this way. Share your comments, say what you feel. It's okay, but just don't be the attacker. You don't need to attack people. You don't need to ensue violence. You don't need to end a thing with fuck you because I don't agree, because my life I haven't lived the exact same life that you have. You've lived better situations in things for me that you may not have experienced. And it could be as simple as a relative that you may not have lost in your life yet that I have, that was very harmful to me. You may not have experienced the loss of a pet that I've experienced the loss of a pet. So I've gone through horrible things that you haven't gone through. So that's the thing. Be careful with your choice of words. Just know that you're going to make a change in your life, that you want to have a positive change, that you don't want to be in these horrible situations, but you're going to do something about it. And that's what I'm going to leave you guys with. Make it a great week. Enjoy this life. Enjoy this life. Again, think about what I talked about last week. Just don't let these things just overtake you. Life is going to happen. Let things happen. Let it happen. Let it be. Things are going to go down that way. And whatever it is, just ask yourself, how can I move myself beyond this situation, whatever it may be, and just enjoy it. Enjoy it. It makes life so much better. Put it into practice. Hopefully you guys are putting into practice your spiritual guides, your internal guidance system. Just let your thought lead you to where you're going to go, lead you to what you're going to do. It's going to work. It's going to happen. You got to put it into practice, and that's it. Make it a great week. To subscribe to my mailing list and stay updated on future workshops and events, please go to my contact at silvertunes.com and simply hit join mailing list. Until the next time, make it a great week, and thank you for listening.